Today is Thursday, July the 11th, and again, my apologies for not getting the video last night to you. I only got it to you at about 7:30 this morning. Really sorry about that. So what we saw is the market still looking forward to a Fed rate cut. Low volume on the Dow, but steady move upward all day. Low volume on the NASDAQ. It had a drop today. Apple struggled, for example. And the S&P finished up 6 points, but it was an up and down day. Frankly, in this area around 2 p.m., I thought we were going to fall harder. And I tweeted that I was taking a defensive position. I was getting out of stuff. I've had a pretty good year, so I am going to protect profits, especially now up at these highs. The advancers were led by the decliners, 55 to 40%, which means that our oscillator is going to come back down to the neutral and zero line. I've been reading that there's money coming out of the market, and this would be evidenced by this set of oscillator points here. This is just, this whole area right here just talks about money coming out of the market. So let's look at the S&P. Closed just under 3,000, very close to 3,000. That's going to make traders nervous. I've been pointing out in the videos that this trend line is something to keep an eye on if the temptation exists to take us above 3,000. Apple. Where did Apple go? Okay, so let's just take this one. Let's make it Apple. Apple today finished down $1.35, 201.88. I got out of Apple. I got in at the beginning of the week with 600 shares. I have no shares left now. I did make a reasonable weekly profit on the 600 shares. I had 3 short 100 calls. 200 calls. At one point, I rolled them into next week, and that's when Apple started to drop. Picked up a little bit of money there. Overall, the short call position lost, but the stock made. So I think on a lot of 300, I made like $200 or $300, and on the other lot of 300, also the same $200 or $300, maybe a little bit more. Whirlpool up again. That trend line that we've seen that goes back to July of last year has been support, and it's been tested now 2 days in a row. This would mean that in a normal market, Whirlpool is on its way back up after potentially having exhausted the sellers at this trend line. There are buyers at the trend line, so every time we come down, the buyers bring it back up. So today was low volume. The previous week has all been low volume. So the selling probably isn't over. There's probably still more people waiting for a wave up and have put stops here on the trend line. So keep an eye on it. I am still long Whirlpool with 400 shares. But I have next week's tomorrow's 145 calls short, which are essentially worthless right now. So that's a profit of $502, but the stock is down. So I'm going to hope for a bounce into the 143 area tomorrow and sell next week's 145 calls tomorrow. WDC continues to have a good day. Just poked its head a little bit above yesterday's high. Looked like it was pulling back substantially, but it pulled back to where? Where did it get support? Right at 68.1% of the recent high to low wave, which would be, let's see, I used, for some reason, I used this wave right here, and it seems to be, it's an unusual place to pick a wave because we had just this little drop here. I could have picked a bigger wave, But this one, when I looked at it, seems to fit because we had some rejections here at 38.2, and now 61.8 has been a good point for this pullback, 78.2 was a good pullback here. So I'm comfortable that I picked a good one that traders might be looking at for Fibonacci levels. And if we're going up, then we're going up to 55.42. If we drop below 52.79, that's not going to be a good thing. And I've got a lot of profit in WDC, and I would get out below 52.79. Everything depends on the S&P, and as long as the S&P continues to click a little bit higher, we can still stay long, but I have now about 40% cash. Thank you. See you tomorrow.